Mike Garofalo from NFL Network. He said the Packers have been fined. He tweeted this. The Packers have been fined $300,000. We were all wondering, hey, would there be suspensions? Would there be fines? He said the Packers have been fined $300,000 following the NFL's review of their COVID-19 protocols, as Rob Demovsky said. The league reviewed press conference and substantial video from within the team facility. So that's $300,000 for the Packers. Then he went on to say that Aaron Rodgers and Alan Lazard were fined $14,650 each. How did he come up with that figure, by the way? For attending a maskless Halloween party. The party was not sanctioned by the team, but the league determined the club should have penalized both players. So $300K to the Packers and $14,650 each to Rodgers and Lazard. And I said it before the break. I was like, how much is that to us? And you said a nickel. It really is.
You remember when Devin White grabbed Jameis Winston, and it was like a borderline horse collar, but it was a horse collar, and the thing that hurt Jameis's knee.
Yes.
He was fined $15,450 for a in the heat of the moment.
Oh man.
Tackle.
And it was not a horse collar, by the way. At all.
I mean, it was, yes, borderline at best, horse collar, right? He was fined $15,450 for that. So a heat of the moment tackle, one-armed on a guy or whatever, was fined more than Aaron Rodgers was for a decision that he made of sound mind, not in the heat of battle or anything like that, that he went and did. And so, quick math here, Gill.
Quick math.
Yeah. So Aaron Rodgers makes $35 million. So he could pay 1,000 of those $15,000 fines, and he'd have $20 million left over. So he could just go to 1,000 Halloween parties, maskless, and then he would have $20 million.
And let me just step in, because there's inevitably going to be people who are listening to you and say, "Oh, he's one of them." No, what Matt? Let me just sort of clarify. Regardless of how you feel about the entire issue, the NFL has rules. And so all we're talking about here is the fact that the rules were not only broken, they were kind of made a mockery of here by Aaron Rodgers. And so for making a mockery of those rules, the ultimate penalty is $300K to the Green Bay Packers and $14,650 for both Rodgers and Lazard, each of Rodgers and Lazard. That is what would prevent any other player and any other team now from just absolutely breaking the rules.
Whatever. So, especially from the team standpoint, right? Like, there is no incentive for a team to self-report, to suspend a player on their own, or fine a player, or even ruffle a player's feathers, really, because $300K to these multi-billion-dollar organizations is not a deterrent at all. Again, we're just literally just talking about what this does from a standpoint for these teams and these players. Like, I mean, there's no deterrent whatsoever. Like I just said, Devin White was fined more for a tackle he made in a game in the heat of the moment. Like, I mean, like, and he gets fined for that, and then these teams blatantly skirt the rules, players blatantly skirt the rules, and literally get less than a slap on the wrist. Like, less than a slap on the wrist. It's just. Again, we knew he wasn't going to get suspended because he was a superstar.
Yeah.
I thought from a fine standpoint, they would at least do something.
I thought it was going to be like make an example, like a larger amount of money than we would have thought even. Jonathan Jones, senior NFL reporter over at CBS, got a little bit more detail on all of this. I'm just going to go through a series of tweets here from him. Quote, can confirm the league has fined the Green Bay Packers $300,000 for noncompliance with COVID-19 protocols. League has fined Aaron Rodgers, now Lazard, $14,650 each for attending the Halloween party while being unvaccinated. The NFL made it clear to the Packers future violations could result in greater punishment, which includes not only a loss in draft picks, but a change in draft position. The league reviewed video supplied by the Packers. There were, quote, a few isolated instances of Aaron Rodgers and Alan Lazard maskless inside the facility, but otherwise the league felt the team and players were, quote, substantially compliant. This goes on. $300,000 fine from the league also includes a fine for the Halloween party. Though the Packers didn't sanction the party, they were aware of it after the fact and didn't discipline or report Rodgers or Lazard to the league for violating protocols. The NFL completed its review today, reported the fines to the team this evening. At this time, it appears to be the extent of the punishment for the Packers and Rodgers. I would not expect maskless in-person press conferences going forward until he is vaccinated.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like they're only getting in trouble for this Halloween party thing, and not the numerous press conferences over 8 weeks that happened. Are we just sweeping that under the rug?
I'm so
I love that, it's like, hey, I love the part of the future violations could be worse.
Oh,
it's like, wait, what? Like you don't think the Packers feel like they just escaped with the biggest W of the year right now?
Other teams should be really, really angry at this because they had all their players abiding by all the rules, and now this is the ultimate slap on the wrist thing. So it's like, well, the other teams will be like, well, why did we even bother with all this stuff?
I think other guys too. Like, think about the guys that we kind of laughed about, like. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers talked about this in his interview last week of like the witch hunt that was going on. And Kirk Cousins before the year where he's talking about setting up plexiglass. And we're kind of laughing at him at the time, but at least he was honest about what he wanted to do, right?
That's the real takeaway from this is that Aaron Rodgers did more as a PR hit to himself in all this than anything. Because the other guys, regardless of your stance, right, Carson Wentz, Kirk Cousins, Lamar Jackson, they will tell you, I'm not vaccinated. I'm still doing my research, whatever their reasoning is, right? But they'll tell you, they'll be honest about it, and they will follow the rules. That's the point. Aaron Rodgers was dishonest and didn't follow the rules. And there you go. It is what it is.
I can believe
the NFL doesn't care what anybody thinks.
I can't believe that came down during the show, and that's all it was.
That's all it was. They want it swept under the carpet so badly.
It's just, again, I just can't believe there's no repercussion for the 8 weeks of the press conference and stuff. That's all I'm saying. It's like, it's just, that's all I'm saying. Hey, people on Twitter are like sitting here like I'm making some sort of judgment on like whatever. No.
That's why I stepped in, because I knew they were going to think that about you. It's just about the rules.
It's literally about there were 8 weeks of other stuff that we're apparently just going to ignore. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get the consistency or lack thereof.
So Aaron Rodgers, is sort of unscathed. Odell Beckham Jr. gets his way. He gets to play for whoever he wants to, whoever he can finagle a deal with. It's the way of the world, man.
It's the way it is.
It's the way it is.